G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DotaPit League Season number 3. We are here with Vega Squadron versus Team Empire, and believe it or not, we are already in game number 2. Guys, we actually waited a long time to get into that first game, and it lasted approximately 17 minutes. 17 minutes! Empire, aggro tri-lane, resolution mid-invoker, there's no other way to describe it than a beating against Vega Squadron. And with that, Empire move up to 3-2. An outstanding performance in that first game. Vega Squadron moved down to 1-4. They are last in Group B. They've got to find something here in this second game. Otherwise, they're going to go down 0-2. Well, they'll try their best. We're already in the draft as things do get started. Again, I'm joined, as always, by my production crew, Pit Muckle and Trout. Trout, do you have any words for what we just saw in that last game, my friend?
Just a slaughter. That's the word that comes to mind, really. They just... I thought things were going to go bad early on because of the early death on Talina being solo killed by the Axe in lane that she should really dominate, but where she didn't dominate in kills, she dominated at CS. Like, her CS was just so good. And then she also was able to roam around the map too, so... Anyway, if you're Vega, you want to do whatever you can to completely forget about that game and have a fresh start in this game. So they go with the Vengeful Spirit Shadow Fiend, which is very good for Roshan. Lots of negative armor there. Vengeful Spirit, one of the better supports in the mid to late game, honestly. I would say probably the best in late game just because you have the swap ability to not only initiate, but totally save your carry. Not so good in the early game, though. It's one of the not the best supports in the early stages of the game, unless you have someone else that can be coupled with the stun and can actually still do damage. So like last game, we saw them use it actually quite nicely in the early game because they had the what's that spell called? The Ice Shards, which not only does damage but also traps people too. So it essentially does damage itself, traps people, which then in turn does more damage because it makes it so you can get more auto attacks off. So we'll see if Rubik is a good couplings or a good support with him. I think Rubik's damage is actually a lot better than most people think. So
yes,
we'll see.
I agree with that. That's the biggest thing. Is I talked to a couple people. And they feel like Rubik's damage is flimsy early on in the game. Fadebolt's a bit deceptively strong, I think, early on. His right click as well is not bad. It's not a bad animation. It's not bad damage. It used to be a lot better when people played Rubik mid. Those were the days, which, by the way, I'm just going to say, I think that was maybe the worst decision Ice Frogs made, was taking Rubik out of mid, because his playmaking ability was so incredibly fun to watch that a lot was lost when they changed that. However, he can still make big plays, obviously. He's still a strong hero. Venge Rubik together as a combo, I'm certainly not opposed to. I think it's a strong start for Vega. They also get the SF for more than likely for no one. And that was one of those games. That was one of the very few games in that first game where I've seen a sniper get absolutely crushed, hammered. And they are looking to just... That's a bit of PTSD, I'm sure, from that last game. They have to try to find something else to work with here, so...
Yeah, for sure. I still think Rubik is a fantastic mid. Like, he actually has pretty damn good attack animation, good damage too, like you mentioned. And the thing about his Fadebolt is not only is it not a bad nuke at all, it reduces their damage by quite a lot, so they can't. It's harder for them to last hit, and it's harder for the lanes to push themselves out too, because the enemy creeps don't do as much damage either. So the only problem about him mid is that his strength lies in stealing certain spells, and you don't need a ton of farm to do that. You can usually just do that by prioritizing his farm after your one position, dips into the jungle or something like that, and then Rubik gets a fast blink, which we might see this game, because I don't think Vengeful Spirit does better things with farm than a Rubik does.
Yeah, Vengeful Spirit is like Boots, maybe Medallion, probably not. I don't know. You could build a couple of items on her, but Rubik needs a blink desperately, in almost every situation.
It makes him a way better hero once he gets that blink.
Yeah.
So for instance, you see Vici when when
Yes.
FY plays him. They always prioritize the Rubik Blink on him, and
Yes.
it's because it just changes the dynamic of the hero a lot.
That is the one strong thing about Vici. No matter what they have in terms of supports and laners, they will get FY if he's on like SS, like Shadow Shaman, if he's on like Lion, if he's on Rubik, he will get an early Blink Dagger. That is his job. Other than, of course, winning his lane, rotating, getting kills. But like getting that Blink Dagger, they prioritize it so heavily that if you see a Vici game that he doesn't get a 15-minute Blink Dagger, it's almost kind of awkward. And it's like it usually doesn't happen that often. So Vega Squadron, they'll pick up the Batrider. We already talked about the Rubik at great length. For Empire, we haven't really talked about their lineup. They have the Brewmaster, Earthshaker, and the Skywrath Mage, and now the TA. You would think the Brewmaster would be going into the mid lane, but with the TA coming out for Empire, there's a good chance Resolution picks that up, and then maybe Yoki plays Brew in the off lane, and then we'll see if Silent grabs something for the safe lane. That seems to be the best possible case for me.
I like that. Yeah, that's good for me too, because if they put Panda safe lane, then they would have to pick some kind of more greedy off lane to potentially carry in the mid to late game. But you don't want to have that on your off lane's shoulders, because your off lane's typically not going to get much. So I like that. I like the only thing is it's very interesting that they pick TA into Batrider, which shows one, that they have something in mind, and two, that they're confident, because most teams won't do that. Most teams will just say, oh, like if you're like, for instance, if you're in the drafting booth and you're saying, oh, what's going to be good here? How about TA? Most people on a team will be like, no, they have Batrider. TA is awful. But like I said, Empire's quite confident, and they have some kind of other plan to deal with this Batrider.
I mean, you'd probably be confident too if you just beat a team in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So Vega Squadron, their last pick coming out, probably a safe lane hero. Something for Tron. That slaughter did not work out, and that wasn't necessarily his fault. His supports tried their best to help him, but that aggro tri-lane, I mean, that was a rough aggro tri-lane to go up against. They were diving tier 1 towers like crazy. The funny thing about that game is that every single hero from Empire at like 12 to 13 minutes all like conglomerated mid lane, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have a party here now. We're gonna go to your jungle. We're gonna go to your mid lane. We're gonna kill everyone. I don't think that's going to be the case this game. This game is going to be a bit more drawn out, because as a Brewmaster, you do need a Blink Dagger. As a Templar Assassin, you need maybe like Phase, Drum, maybe a Yasha. We'll see what Resolution builds on TA, on what he decides to go for. But Vega have to find something. They have to find something here for their safe lane for Tron, and I'm not sure what they go for. They're taking a long time to think about it, though.
Yeah. And the one thing that's not too bad for the TA this game is that, yeah, Batrider is very good against TA by getting rid of the refraction charges immediately, but if it's just a straight up 1v1 mid for Shadow Fiend TA, yeah, Shadow Fiend should be able to get some pretty decent CS if he plays his cards right, but TA is not gankable, because Rubik Venge are not the best pairing for killing Templar and getting rid of those refraction charges. Batrider, yes, can do it, but you do not have a Batrider transfer mid to go ganking, pre-minute 10, so it's going to be hard to gank this TA. And then if they stack the jungle for him, or stack the Ancients, TA, I don't know if you've seen it since they made that change a few months ago, but man, TA can take out Ancients so damn fast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is the refraction, the Cyboid damage coming up from Templar Assassin. And you talked about this before. Teams don't expect Templar Assassin to go to the Ancients. Like, they don't expect heroes like TA to head over there and have a stacked Ancient camp. So they don't put all of their emphasis on, like you would for a Tidehunter, for example.
Yeah.
Sentrying or Observer warding up those Ancient camps. Therefore, TA kind of has free roam to get some extra gold. Now, I do want to talk about these last two picks, which are very interesting. What we thought was going to be a Yoki offlane Brewmaster turns into a Yoki Sand King in the jungle, which means Brewmaster goes to the safe lane, and then, or who goes to the off? Maybe a Yoki offlane Sand King? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I didn't see the game, but I saw it posted on Join Dota, where because I was curious about what they played and what they drafted one game, and I think it was today recently. Empire, they just played Yoki offlane Sand King, I believe. I didn't see it. I just saw it on paper, and I could only assume. And yeah, it looks like he is going to walk up here. This was really popular. I try not to do this too much and do the Han plugs, but offlane Sand King was a big thing for a long time in Han as well. So it's kind of fun for me to see this happen. But yeah, and then you mentioned the Centaur War Winner. That's very interesting too. So they have good initiation with a fast blink on Tron, and then maybe a fast blink on Batrider. But I'm scared for the late game potential just a little bit. Empires doesn't have the biggest late game punching power, but TA is actually a lot stronger in late game than people think.
Yeah, no, TA can certainly take a game over, and also if she snowballs, then she can take over the game a lot earlier than I think people anticipate. And then not to mention Silent on a Brewmaster, who's going to get a lot, like, in the mid lane, you get a lot of farm, but sometimes you get contested. If you're in the safe lane, though, unless they are running an aggro tri-lane into you, Brewmaster should get 100% free farm. His animation is beautiful. His base damage is great. I don't really think he'll miss any CS, considering Silent, obviously one of the best CSers out there, at least in the CIS scene. But look at this 5-man aggression from Vega. They are maybe thinking about warding some camps here. They have 2 sentries. They have 2 observers. Tron does get 1 right click from Always Want to Fly. They threw up the observer ward here just to get vision. And anything else? They ward 1 camp. There's a lot of heroes bottom. Telekinesis Resolution. They didn't bring him down, actually, and they missed the stomp. Tron backing away the refraction, doing some damage. And they actually will get the bounty rune for the Sand King top. It is going to be no one, but now the fight breaking out. No one getting low. The body blocks. He's so low. The Fisher, it's not going to be there. Ivan walking up with the Firefly. And I think he lived with about 20 HP for no one. I thought for sure he was going to go down, but Vega survived. And again, that would have been another disastrous engagement early on in this game.
Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. I thought he died too. Like, okay, so Templar's attack is technically still ranged at 140, right? Maybe did he miss uphill? I didn't see.
I don't think so. I don't think he missed. I think it just wasn't enough damage. Maybe I'm crazy.
Nah, I couldn't. I was watching, like, my camera was just a little bit lower than the auto attack to see, so. It's going to be Rubik soaking up just a little bit, and now he'll probably leave after SF has to TP back after the first wave. Not
a good start. He does have wave first, so he can actually get some CS in this lane early on. I feel like TA against SF is not a bad. It's not a bad lane for resolution, especially later on when he gets more points of refraction. Lane?
Yeah. It kind of works both ways. Like once you get levels on the SF2, you can spam out waves. Once you get levels on the TH, you can kind of spam out waves in a sense too. Bottom looks like they might have gone for something. Nope. But
Ivan, he's been taking a lot of damage from Always Want to Fly. He's been throwing out a lot of arcane bolts, so Ivan's really getting zoned out pretty heavily. Whereas Sand King has 5 last hits, and he's got a Sandstorm Arzeek. He does have a Sentry. He actually magic missiles that immediately. Team is coming back in. He's like, I can telekinesis, but I'm a mile away, so I guess I'm not getting there in time. Yoki's going to go for Tranquils, by the way. He'll pick up his Ring of Regen, and actually with the Tango, he regens so fast. And he's also going to go for the top tier, that top 2-minute rune, and Seam of the Slayer is not heading in that direction. So all of a sudden, rune control going the way of Empire just a little bit. And everything looking solid for the Radiant squad as of right now.
Yep, and that Sentry will be expired here relatively soon. He has 1 more, but you know, it's just another one of those Invis offlane heroes similar to a Bounty Hunter, except it's way harder to kill a Sand King than a Bounty Hunter, even with Rev Wards. But you still have to expend the gold to actually threaten him out of the lane. And can you really do that against a Sand King when you're just Venge? I don't even think he can, even with the stuns up, just because he can Burrow Strike away. Not only getting himself further away, but it also stuns people in his way. So it's very difficult to actually keep a Sand King all the way out.
I mean, Arzeek is, or the Sand King, excuse me, Yoki's level 3, Batrider's level 2, and we're talking about a Batrider here. This is the quintessential offlane hero for most people. And Sand King is not one we see often. You talked about it, but also I am concerned. Are they stacking up the jungle currently for Sand King? Absolutely. There's a couple of stacks. No, that one's not stacked. Never mind. Don't. This one's been warded. It's blocked. So they do have 1 big stack actually coming out for Aloha Dancing. That's pretty good.
I actually think this is going to start being a thing. I really do. It's like, I think Sand King with the Blink is arguably more effective than a Batrider sometimes, just because he does more damage. And he does more burst damage, like, and surprisingly, you know. And it's AoE. Yes, Firefly's AoE too, but it's not the most, you know, spectacular AoE. They're actually smoking around to mid. It's only a level 1 Burrow Strike, but he's very, very quick, and yeah, no one will fall here, I think.
The Fisher's probably going to come out in just a second. This is going to be an easy kill, and Resolution's the one to get the last hit. So not only can he farm the jungle, he can stay up top, leech experience, but he can also help get first blood with the Smoke of Deceit gank because you have a stun coming out as well. You don't have that capability as a Batrider. But, yeah, that's a pretty good start for Yoki, and that gives actually a lot of space for Resolution as well, who's only 2 CS ahead of no one currently. Arzeek does take the lane experience, so that's pretty nice. They do have free farm top for Tron, so I imagine a very quick Blink Dagger, but the same could be said probably for Silent down bottom with 26 CS.
If Yoki gets this stack, he's the man. I don't know, he didn't get it. That's really hard to stack. I think that's 5? Let me see if I can count this. 1, it's 4, okay. Pet Munkle has told me it's 4. It's really
he's
hard.
He's gonna take it anyway. Yeah, that. Oh man, that always seems difficult. He'll actually just Sandstorm. He's level 3, so Sandstorm level 2. This is when you start really getting into the gold area. This is when you start cashing in. This poor family of creeps are they're falling. It's a dust storm. Meanwhile, mid lane Resolution going up against no one, and he has a haste rune, yes. No one could kind of run after him if you wanted to, but I don't think that'll be the case. Resolution will just sit under the tower and CS. No, it's all even. Not much action other than that first blood, though, man. Not much really going on in the game.
And Yoki gets up to about just a little, or he will be a little under 5.5. So that's really good farm hit. And you play it similarly like you would play with a Batrider. You know, Batrider's off lane, you stack with the Batrider, then he goes to the jungle when he can't lane anymore, and then gets free farm. And it works out similarly.
Yeah. By the way, Batrider did go to the jungle, and he got a stack or two. And there's even this huge stack coming out as well. Another, I think, 4 stack coming up for Vega. So he'll have that to work with. And then, of course, Yoki actually going for the Soul Ring. So he's really going to delay his Blink Dagger for sustain. Tranquils and Soul Ring. So mana and health. That's what he's got going for him. And that allows him to... Sometimes when you go for boots first into a Blink Dagger, you get an Epicenter, and then you have to go back home. Or a burrow, or like 2 burrow strikes, and then you have to go back home because you're out of mana,
right,
or you're down in health. So it's a smart decision, but it's going to delay the Blink Dagger for sure.
Yeah, that is one of the better things about Batrider now, I guess, that like you can just straight up go brown boots blink, and you're pretty much fine. Like, because you don't do much, you don't pressure much with your other spells on the map without a Batrider lasso up, right? Whereas with Sand King, like you just mentioned, you can burrow strike a couple of times, you can Sandstorm for damage and farm. So in that sense, Batrider kind of uses the gold a little bit faster, but yeah, we'll see.
Dampede's gonna go. The Fisher coming out. Aloha Dance in some trouble. It looks like Tron almost got caught out of position. Aloha Dance is actually doing work. This is level 3. He's now the offlaner. He's taking over the lane. What else is happening across the map? Nothing that I can see. No one actually took a lot of damage coming out from Resolution. He'll throw up the trap. He'll start just spreading his traps around on the map to get vision. Oh boy.
Yep, Resolution has a DD in his bottle as well. So obviously a really, really good rune for him. Level 4 Refraction now. Might even be able to dive this. Well, this Vengeance have to be careful. He has actually Batrider sitting behind him, but Batrider wants to take the stack. Oh, he already took him. Never mind. Did he take them?
I think so. Oh, that's surprising to me because he's only up to... He was at 700 gold before that stack. He's up to 1,000 now. So unless he bought something that I'm not sure.
Maybe he yeah, there's no way he got all the gold for that. There's just no way. But,
they're looking to run in on Resolution. Resolution, though, is like, I have this warded. That's not even a problem. Look at Always Want to Fly, though. What is he up to? He is way in the jungle. He gets a big ward off here. That is huge. And I'm surprised he was able to sneak in and just throw that bad boy down. These are some ballsy plays coming out from Empire.
Yeah, well, he ran up at minute 7, which is usually around the time when both teams don't have lanes. Top lane, and, yeah, an early blink revealed by Tron, and they do get the kill onto Earthshaker, so very early blink. 43 CS for Centaur, and nice timing for him.
Silence not too far behind. He actually picked up the treads first, so he'll have a bit more sustain. His blink, unless he goes down here in the next couple of seconds, he'll have it within a minute or two. But the early blink, I mean, you have to get stuff done with this if you're Tron. That's the entirety. Yeah. That's the entire point of putting him into the safe lane is getting that early blink dagger and then going from there. Whether it is with the Batrider or just in general, like with your team, you have to get kills. And they pick up one. It's not on the highest value target, but it's a kill nonetheless.
Oh man, this poor Venge and Batrider. He stacked again, and he's got 6 mud golems in total. And actually, he could be in some trouble here. Slow, stun. Here comes another concussive shot for a slow.
No side trap though. I'm not sure if they can get this kill. Magic Missile, Burrow Strike, Yoki long range. That'll be the kill. Stampede coming in. Maybe thinking about a lasso. Race is coming through. Empire stacking up a little bit, but they'll back away. A brawl in the jungle as it is. Seam of the Slayer getting caught out. Concussive shot. Big burrow from Yoki. He's doing work. That's going to get him up to 1,500 gold. And Big Fisher as well, but no one should make it out there alive. It's like the exact same thing we saw last game to a much scaled down extent. They run into like the tier 2 tower. They run to the enemy jungle. They try to find kills. They get kills. They don't lose anybody in the process. And they put a lot of pressure and give Silent a lot of space in the meantime.
Yeah, I like it even better this game because they have a lot of just good abilities with low cooldowns. Like Fisher to be cast a lot of the time. They have Burrow Strike all the time because he's got the Soul Ring. They're now taking over the jungle slowly. Yoki's taking out a stack by them. Like I mentioned, all the other creeps, all mud golems. 6 mud golems in their jungle right now. And so this is going to be a relatively late blink for this Batrider, unfortunately.
Yeah, and speaking of Blink, Silently just picked up his. He was actually looking for Ivan, but he was walking back home.
Mid.
Meanwhile, no one getting caught out with the Fisher. The right click isn't enough. No, the bottle saves his life. Resolution in trouble. No refraction. Burrow onto 2, but where's the follow-up? Fade Bolt's gonna go. Arzeek slowed up. Big side trap. Now Silent comes in seemingly out of nowhere. The clap. Seema gets caught out as well with the Ancient Seal. Boulder toss. Arzeek. Burrow strike. You're dead. Resolution. Chasing down Seema. Big jukes coming out, but he will not survive the Sandstorm. And that's a double kill for Silent. That blink getting shown off the split as well. And that is now Sand King's blink on top of it all.
God. Sand King's got a pre-10-minute blink with Tranquils and Soul Ring. And he's also been involved in 5 kills. 5 out of 6 of the kills. So Yoki's had a hell of a game. Very nice draft from them, and they're making it work. It's not just the draft, because you have to play it right too. I guarantee you put this draft on a team that's not nearly as good as Empire, they will crash and burn. They know what they need to do with this draft, and they're executing properly.
They knew they needed to put aggression on early. Getting that first split on no one was really, I think, what started them snowballing, and now no one's going to get sidetrapped. Fisher's going to go, but Resolution smartly decides not to chase any further. Because one bad engagement also turns things around. Meanwhile, Lasso went to Silent. Ivan tried to TP away. Silent's just like, okay. That kind of tickled. Wave of Tears going to go. Tron will jump in with a blink. He gets the stomp off. Double Edge about to go. Magic Missile Silent. He's got clap. Telekinesis. Can't even use it. That is actually a pretty big kill for Seema the Slayer. And they need something for Vega right now, and that's it. TA's going to walk in from the backside, though. Aloha Dance as well. Meld Strike goes in. RZ probably going to die. Ooh, that Meld Strike hurts.
It's the double Meld Strike. It's only level 2, though, so it wasn't like that impressive, but still nicely done by Resolution.
Yeah.
And good follow there from Aloha Dance, who's been kind of an unsung hero, too, for Empire. We talk a lot about Resolution. Silent, when he gets all the farm, it's like, wow, big carry player Silent. Yoki, to me, has really been the biggest star, but Aloha Dance has been just a very solid support player for them, ever since he was the addition to them not too long ago. And there's another kill on the Seema.
Yoki, I think he blinked for that, I'm pretty sure. They get the kill with the Burrow, the Sandstorm, and of course the Ancient Seal and Arcane Bolt. They're going to find no one in the jungle. They're going to go with the Mystic Flare as well. No one barely surviving with the Stick. Tron actually going for the Stomp. Double raise. Now they're in trouble. They will have Aloha Dance coming to the backside. He was looking for the Echo Slam. He's going to get it off. Tron now getting Ancient Sealed. They need a Fisher. They're going to find it. Blink Yoki almost died to the Requiem, but he stays alive with like 20 HP. Now the TP coming out from no one. They can't get the kill. Aloha Dance, he had a chin. He was too far away. And these ballsy plays continue to pay off, but here comes Ivan. Burrow strike onto Arzeek, but not a full Burrow. Telekinesis, Yoki does Sandstorm. Now there's the Meld coming out for Resolution. Seema the Slayer getting caught as well. Side Trap. He does steal the Side Trap, but that's not going to do anything. That's a double kill for Resolution. Blink, clap, split. How far are they going to dive this? It looks all the way to the tier 3 tower. 4 dead. This feels exact. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me? Empire, do it again. I said it last game. I said there's no way they are finishing a game quicker than 17 minutes. It's 12. Empire have eaten their Wheaties, and they are absolutely trouncing every team. Vega get obliterated. Oh my lord.
They definitely have eaten their Wheaties, man. We actually waited longer for the series to start than the entirety of the series, I believe. I could be wrong. It was close.
You are 100% correct on that.
And I think the important thing, too, to note here is you outlined a little bit, is that Vega's not a bad team, man. Like, none of these teams in this tournament are bad at all. Vega, they qualified. They took the first spot over NiP. They looked damn good in the qualifiers. They pretty much dominated everyone outside of NiP, and even against NiP, they looked really good. This is not a bad team. Empire is just on a new level. And they're showing that with these different drafts and just amazing plays from everyone. Specifically, Yoki. This guy has been very, very impressive since he's been the addition for them.
It felt like Vega were kind of tilting at the end there, but Empire, you really have to just applaud their play. I mean, we didn't even have a hero that was level 11. That was absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've seen. That felt like a TI4 kind of game with a 12-minute game, but it wasn't necessarily a death ball. It was just outplay at every step of the way. They had heroes, they got an advantage, and they ran with that advantage, man. That was something else. Oh, man. So that'll actually end the series today. A very quick series. There was a delay to start things off, but oh boy, did it escalate quickly. And with that, we are going to head out for today. Tomorrow, we do have some more action, which I believe is going to start at 21 CET or 21:30. I'm not 100% sure. Let me check the schedule quickly. Our March the 3rd game, Secret versus Alliance, 21:30 CET. Very excited for that. And that should be a good series. I'll look to see you guys then. But also, before we go again, make sure you guys check out gamersbook.com. They have a giveaway on their giveaways tab. Check it out. It's an epic Arcana giveaway, the PA and CM Arcana. Make sure you enter over there at gamersbook.com. As well, shout-outs to, of course, the High Ground TV production crew, as always. Pimp Muckle providing excellent action. I don't think we even got an instant replay, with the exception at the end of the game. So that's how you know it's been a fast game. They were going back and forth. No kills missed. Excellent work. Good stuff. All right. Mawpax. Of course, he wasn't here for game number 2, but shout-outs to him for joining us in game number 1. You can follow him at Mawpax. And, of course, as always, Tralf is with me. You can catch him at TralfDota. You can catch me at ModDota on Twitter. Guys, it's been a fun but quick day. We'll see you all tomorrow for Secret vs. Alliance. Have a good evening, everybody.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck. What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!